Oh, hey there. Today I want to talk to anybody out there who's ever wondered what a photographer does or why photographers charge what they charge. I recently had an email from a potential client and she wanted to know my pricing and packages. So I sent her the information and the response I got was pretty surprising. She was very angry and she wrote me a really rude response and she just could not believe how much I was charging and she was just laying it into me and she said, I can't believe you would charge this. You've got a lot of nerve. It was a really rude, upsetting email and I dwelled on it for a few hours, and unfortunately, this isn't the first time I've gotten an email like that. Not always that extreme, of course, or that even in person conversations that have happened where people just get the shocked look when you tell them how much photography costs. And I know that at the end of the day, the ideal clients understand the value of photography and really don't have a problem paying for it. But when I was thinking about this woman and I had some time to reflect, I remembered that there was a time I actually said some stuff like the things she was saying. And I never would send somebody an email that rude, of course. But there was a time when I didn't really understand the value of photography myself, and that was before I started my photography business. So it really took me to start a business to truly understand everything that goes into photography. Back when we were planning our wedding, that was when I was looking at these other photographers' websites and I was looking at their prices for weddings and I was like, this is such a sham. Like, they're just charging this much because it's a wedding. This is crazy. Like, I know how to use a camera and it's not that hard. And, I had this idea that I knew better and that I just couldn't believe that they were charging this much. I wasn't always this way. Now, after starting my business, I realized how much goes into it. So just to give a little bit of a summary of kind of the day-to-day of a photographer. So when you book a session with somebody, you're planning all the details. So you're talking about location, you're talking about style, concept, date, time, clothes, anything like that. Maybe you're meeting with brides, you're working out photography timelines, all of that kind of thing. That all happens before the actual event or photo shoot. Then the photo shoot day comes around, and this is where you're working one-on-one together, and you're creating beautiful images, and you're posing, you're working with your light, you're working with your venue, and everything is great. You're totally in your zone. That's the best, most fun part for a lot of us. Then when I get home, this is different for everybody, of course. Every photographer is different, but I've noticed generally the process is the same. And what we do is we offload all of our pictures into our hard drive or computer, wherever, and we do this process called culling, where you go through all of the photos and you choose the best ones. So I'm getting rid of ones where, like, your eyes all like this or something weird, and or duplicates, or like a totally not flattering photo that if you saw you'd be like horrified. We all have those photos, by the way. I have a million when we go out to do pictures, and I'm pretty thankful that I'm allowed to see them and go through them first. So typically we narrow it down to the best pictures where you look the best and your family looks the best and most happy, and those are the ones we want to show our clients. So after we do that, we color correct. And that's just doing little things like dialing in skin tone, brightening up a dark image, adding some contrast, stuff like that. Then what I do is upload those pictures into a proofing gallery. My clients then pick their favorite pictures for final editing, and they let me know when they're done picking. So I open those final pictures up in Photoshop, and that's where I do my fine-tuned editing. So I add my own little personal style to it. I get rid of blemishes. I get rid of distractions in the background, anything like that. So overall, from start to finish, this process can take a few hours, just depending on how many pictures you took and all that. So this is one photo shoot. So that's kind of from start to finish. And sometimes you maybe will make an album for a client or things like that. So it might be a little longer. But that's typically what that looks like. And if you have a wedding, take that process and times it by 10, because you're at a wedding day for so much longer than a regular photo shoot, and you have so many more pictures to take and so many more people to maneuver. So that is a really big event that takes quite a bit of time. And that's the client part of it. So besides that, photographers are also doing all this other stuff. So they are marketing, they're running ads, maybe setting up styled shoots. We're learning new photography techniques, so Photoshop techniques, editing techniques, lighting techniques, equipment, all that kind of stuff that we're doing on the back end. Some photographers even do their own accounting, so keeping track of their own expenses and income and taxes and all of that stuff. So there's really quite a bit, way more than I ever imagined going into this. And, I really wish that I could tell you that we take your pictures, I upload them to my computer, then I go and sit and watch American Idol for 2 weeks and then take a bath in a tub full of money, because, that would be amazing. And honestly, I kind of thought it was going to go a little bit like that when I started this business. And truly, starting a small business has been one of the hardest and most challenging things, but also the most rewarding and fulfilling things I've ever done. So it's worth it completely, but it is a ton of work, and you have to be willing to stick with it and put your time in and do it. So another thing that this has really given me is a new perspective on just jobs in general, and just the way that I talk about other people's jobs. So, for instance, when I'm driving and I'm stuck in traffic and there's all this construction and I see 5 construction dudes just sitting there and they look like they're just scratching it, and you're like, dude, what are you guys even doing? This is crazy. Come on. Now when I think those kinds of thoughts, I kind of check myself and I say, I've really never been a construction worker, and I've never worked in construction. I don't have family in construction. I know nothing about that industry, and I really can't competently sit here and assume that I know what they're doing right now. So I just have to go ahead and think that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, and that's it, because I don't really know their job. So if you've ever wondered these kinds of things like me, because I did too back before I became a photographer, then I hope this video helped. I didn't see the value in paying for photography before I started my business, and it really took seeing how awesome pictures are and how much work goes into it and how much talent goes into it, that now I will happily pay over $500 for a photo shoot with a photographer who I absolutely adore their work. It's just not a question for me. But I wasn't always that way. So I do believe people can kind of change and become really into photo sessions, and that's why I wanted to do this video, because if you've ever thought about it, why do photographers charge what they charge, and as far as that goes, guys, we are doing actual calculations. So me, like many other people that I know who do photography, have actually done the math to figure out what it is we need to charge in order to make a certain amount for that year. So I've calculated I need to charge this amount per session and book this many sessions per year in order to make this salary. And that's my goal every year. So if I were to do things for cheaper or start taking on more sessions, I could either burn out or not meet my goal. And I really need to make this a business that works for me and my family. And that's just what most of us are trying to do, make it work for us and make this a business that we love and a business that works. So if you've ever had questions, please, I hope this helped you. Let me know in the comments, or feel free to share it with any friends who you think might gain something from it. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.